Apple is about to do something we thought they'd never do. They're dropping prices like crazy and actually making some of their cheapest products their best. With some all new rumors coming out about the iPhone SE 4 and new budget AirPods, Macs, and iPads, I figured now would be a good time to sort of break it all down and acknowledge that Apple's actually listening to us and doing some things right. So in this video, let me break down 5 of the new budget Apple products coming soon and why Apple's cheapest products are now like their best. Yeah, Apple and cheap actually are now going together. And a big thanks to Lifein for sponsoring this video. Okay, look, I'm sure I don't need to explain to you why Apple making good, cheap products is a big deal, but just to give a little context here and a little color, Apple has never been known for making like mass market affordable products. I mean, you could go back decades and decades for examples. I mean, even just over the last, couple of decades here, when the iPhone launched at its, sub $1,000 price, that was still very, very expensive for the time when you could get like Blackberries and your Windows mobile phones for free as long as you stayed with a carrier. There's other great examples like the $10,000 Apple Watch Edition that was crazy, and the fact that Apple still sells a $1,000 stand, yes, a stand for their high-end Pro Display XDR, not the monitor. This is $1,000 just to hold up the monitor. And in 2024, when all of our wallets and bank accounts could use a break, Apple products haven't necessarily gotten much cheaper. The iPhone 15 Pro Max actually got a price increase, something we rarely see Apple do. And as awesome as Vision Pro is and the all-new MacBook Pros and all the new stuff that Apple's doing, prices are still pretty expensive. I mean, Vision Pro is awesome, but $3,500? We can all agree that ain't cheap. Which is why I'm so excited in this video to talk about the other end of the spectrum, Apple's lower cost, more budget-friendly products that are finally now catching a big break in 2024. And actually, I think to sort of give credit where credit's due, Tim Cook is one who's been really pushing this for years. Yeah, I think that one of the problems that Apple saw under Tim Cook's leadership, especially over the last couple of years, was that Apple was trying to meet every single consumer at every single price point, so some product lines just sort of became a mess. There were too many Apple Watches, way too many iPads, way too many Macs, and nothing really sort of felt cohesive. There's just way too many options and none of them necessarily good. But now it seems like Apple is dialing those things back, and now we're in a really good place where there are only a few options in each category, but all the options are really good and now about to get much better. For example, one area said to be getting an interesting upgrade in the budget department is AirPods. Now, it's funny to look at AirPods because they're not necessarily the cheapest product out there to begin with, whether you go AirPods Pro or AirPods, certainly not AirPods Max, but I think that what people have realized is that for the price, you're actually getting a really good product. Like when the original AirPods launched, what was that, back in 2017, they were the bud of the joke. Bud of the joke? Bud of the joke? Bud? I don't know, whatever it is. Everyone was making fun of them, but then people quickly realized that they were actually pretty good. $160 was not inexpensive, but you got good battery life, good audio quality, a true wireless design. Things actually turned out really well for AirPods, and as we know today, AirPods are wildly successful, not because they're really inexpensive, but for what you get for the dollar. It's actually a pretty good experience it's hard to beat. But now Apple is committed to making AirPods even better, with a lot of rumors coming out that Apple is looking to launch a $99 version of AirPods. And what it seems like is going to happen is not that Apple's going to introduce an all-new lower cost model from the ground up, but they're going to use the strategy they've done over and over again, and that is make gradual improvements upstream, bring those upgrades downstream, and then the lower cost offering just gets even cheaper. For example, we're hearing that AirPods Pro should be getting a pretty significant upgrade. I think it's next year in 2025, so that'll be coming sometime soon. Much sooner than that, though, is that regular AirPods, AirPods 3rd gen, are about to get much better, adopting an AirPods Pro-esque design with those shorter stems, and for the first time on non-Pro AirPods, the regular AirPods are getting active noise cancellation, which is going to be really great. That means the current set of AirPods right now, with the older design and the older charging case and stuff like that, will likely see a price reduction, bringing it down to the sub $100 mark. 99 bucks for AirPods isn't too bad. Again, of course, you can find your cheaper alternatives on Amazon and elsewhere, but given the audio quality and the battery life and the syncing and the true wireless experience, it's not too bad. And I think that most people would spend a little bit more money to get a better experience than spend like 60 or 75 bucks and get a subpar experience. Okay, now as much as you and I love Apple, as I've been openly discussing in this video, I think we can all agree that they're not a company known for offering an insane value at an insane affordable price, which is why when you find a company that has mastered this, when they offer an amazing product, amazing technology, amazing design at a really great price, it is super exciting, and it's something you want to share, which is exactly why I'm so excited to show off the Wave made by Lyfen, the sponsor of this video, because the Lyfen Wave is an electric toothbrush unlike anything you've seen before. Us Apple fans are going to love and appreciate the very familiar experience here, especially with Lyfen's emphasis on design. This thing is built way more like a flagship phone than it is your typical toothbrush. Like a modern single-piece design that is IPX7 rated and built with a pressure-sensitive button that is sort of beautifully connected to the design of this toothbrush, and a full-fledged companion app that gives you full control over your brushing experience. Speaking of brushing, the Wave is impeccable, sporting 60-degree oscillation and a proprietary servo system that delivers a great amount of power for your brushing needs to really get in there and brush your teeth as effectively, efficiently, and as comfortably as possible. For me, this means the Wave is way more comfortable than the toothbrush I was using before, and also way less expensive than the competition, starting at just $70, and for that price, you're getting so much value and features built in. One of the things for me that I appreciate, for example, is the ability to easily swap brush heads, so if I want to do a little bit more emphasis on my gum care for a day, I can swap on the gray brush head, or if I really want to go ultra whitening, get my teeth as clean as possible, I can swap to the purple brush head. I love the versatility that the Wave offers, and also, just generally speaking, I feel like I get a way better brushing experience. My teeth just feel cleaner, even in the most sticky of situations. So if you want to learn more about the Lyfen Wave and give a big upgrade to your brushing experience and find something that balances technology and design so well and really offers an insane amount of value for the price, check out the Lyfen Wave. Of course, I've got that linked right down below in the description. You can check it out and learn more today. Another budget Apple product that I don't think anyone saw coming was a new low-cost Apple laptop. That's why it was super surprising to see a brand new MacBook Air could be had for as low as $700 from Walmart locations, at least here in the US. Now, we had heard rumors that Apple was actually working to make an all-new lower-cost MacBook. Maybe the MacBook name would come back, maybe MacBook SE. They would do some colors and do different designs. There's actually an April Fool's tweet that was going around that actually was not really a joke because it would have made a whole lot of sense, but that's not the direction Apple is going. Instead, like we just discussed with AirPods, they're very much known for making improvements on the high end and then bringing those improvements lower and lower until the base option gets even cheaper. And of course, credit where credit is due here. I think it was the Max Tech team who sort of appropriately called out that it seems like Apple is quietly partnering or doing some sort of weird relationship with Walmart where they're building and selling the older MacBook Air with the M1 chip, specifically, exclusively, to Walmart locations where they could be had. This sort of keeps the what could be a stigma of lower cost products away from Apple's website. They don't have to advertise this anymore. But for those who want a Mac and don't want to go near $1,000, this is a really great option. This is still a pretty modern Mac. It's the M1 chip, so super quiet, super fast, gonna be great for watching movies, playing games on a Mac. Next, let's go to the iPad. And this is where things get a little controversial because the iPad line is still sort of a hot mess. Apple really hasn't paid much attention to it. The software is sort of a mess, and there are so many different options, and not a lot of them are very good. And I would love to come on here and say that, hey, Apple's making a new budget version of the iPad. It's gonna be great. The iPad mini is getting a price drop to $299. That's not what's happening. I guess to be fair, the 10th gen iPad is a really good buy. It's got good colors, got a decent screen and stuff like that. But at a price point of, what is it, $400? It's still a little expensive. And while this next option isn't budget, it is a lot more affordable than it's been before, and that is an all-new, larger screen iPad Air. And look, maybe a large screen iPad isn't for you, but I know aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, and plenty of people who just want a large iPad experience, but don't need the 12.9-inch OLED display coming to the new iPad Pro. They don't need all the Pro features, they don't need the bells and whistles, and they especially don't want the astronomical Pro price tag that comes along with that iPad Pro. And up until now, there was nothing you could do. If you wanted above 11 inches, you had to go with the larger iPad Pro. But now Apple is fixing that with an all-new, rumored to be coming soon, 12.9-inch iPad Air, which is going to give you a larger iPad experience, but it won't have all the ProMotion stuff. It's not going to be OLED and all that stuff, which I feel like for most people is totally fine and should be coming in at a much more attainable and reasonable price tag. Moving on from that, let's talk iPhone, because this is where things get really exciting and sort of what inspired this video, because from all the rumors we've heard about the iPhone SE4 coming maybe this year, probably next year, whenever it comes, this phone keeps getting better and better and better and providing so much value for the money. Basically, what we know right now is that the iPhone SE4 is finally going to ditch sort of the old and tired iPhone 8 design and adopt the industrial design language of the iPhone 14, basically looking like an iPhone 14, but being rebranded as an iPhone SE. Remember, Apple likes to reuse parts they've used over and over again to save costs, so this is actually going to be a pretty good fit here with this all-new iPhone SE. Along with that design are some other elements you'd expect from this iPhone 14 design. For the first time on the iPhone SE, we're getting a larger screen, so 6.1-inch screen. It's an OLED screen. Yes, Apple's lower cost phone is giving us an OLED display, which is really cool to see. Touch ID is out, Face ID is in, and this phone is expected, of course, to have USB-C, thank you very much, and also the action button might be coming to the iPhone SE4 as well. And then one good piece of news here, bad and good, is that while we won't see sort of a dual camera setup on the iPhone SE4 like we would have saw on the iPhone 14, we are actually going to get an upgrade to the one camera, and Apple's going to quadruple the sensor from a 12 megapixel sensor to a 48 megapixel main camera here on the iPhone SE4. So significantly better camera, better battery life, better chip, better design, better screen. A lot to love here with the iPhone SE4, and as long as Apple doesn't change the price, you're looking at a really good iPhone for under $500. And then last thing I want to mention is a budget version of Apple Vision. Maybe it's Apple Vision SE, regular Apple Vision Pro at, what is it, $3,500 is not cheap, and hopefully a budget version is coming. Now, the problem with Apple Vision Pro and the Apple Vision line is that there's a lot of cutting edge tech here. It's the micro OLED displays, all the cameras and sensors, and obviously Apple believes this is the future, and if they really do believe that and they want to move forward with that, they've got to come up with a lower cost alternative, which will be a lower cost Apple Vision. We know this is in the works, we know it's something Apple's working on. Obviously, some sacrifices will have to be made from the Pro line to the regular line to bring that cost down. Maybe they get rid of the exterior display so there's no eyesight. Maybe it's a reduction in the screen tech, though that would sort of compromise the experience. It's going to be tough to figure out what will stay and what will go, but we know that is something Apple's actively working on right now. No clear timeline on this whatsoever, probably still a couple years out, but if you do want an Apple Vision headset and you don't want to spend the Pro money, Apple hears you, it's in the works, but pack your patience because it's probably going to be a bit. All right, guys, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all this for 2024? Do you think Apple focusing on making these budget products better is a good thing or a bad thing? Obviously, there's some more room for improvement, sort of as Apple as a whole, so what would you like to see? And if Apple could cut the price or make a lower cost alternative to one of the products they've got right now, what do you think that should be? Is it a cheaper Apple display? Is it a big price cut on AirPods Max, which honestly need it? Is it a cheaper Apple Vision? Should that be their priority? Is it an Apple TV stick? Let me know your thoughts down below. We can discuss. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I am Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.